All right, friends, my microphone has decided that it wants to work today, so that's amazing. And we are going to try to do a few videos. I only get 15 minutes in order for you guys to check this review as possible. So let's start with number 1. Hector paid $105 for 6 tickets to a hockey game. Each ticket costs the same amount. What is the cost of each ticket in dollars and in cents? Okay, so we are comparing money to tickets. We know that it costs $105 for 6 tickets. We want to know the price for 1 ticket. So the relationship here is pretty easy to see. So we're going to divide both sides of our proportion by 6. And 105 divided by 6, if we go down here, give us 7, 3, 0. Don't forget to add my decimal. 6 can go into 35 times. So the price of 1 ticket is going to be $17.50. Okay, let's have a look at number 2. Tarek pays $22 for 2.6 pounds of salmon. So for this time, we're talking about money and we're talking about pounds. And it costs us $22.10 for 2.6 pounds. We want to know how much is in 1 pound. I can easily see this relationship as well. Okay, so for here, I'm going to go up here a little bit so I have a little bit of room. We have $22.10 divided by 2.6. We move the decimal over 1 place. So now we have 221 divided by 26. Okay, I believe that goes in 8 times, and that is going to give me 208. And then we have 13 left over. And 26 can go into 5 times. So it would be $8.50 for 1 pound of salmon. Okay, number 3 is a little tricky. We have a bookstore and it offers mystery bags, each containing 12 books. The quantity of each type of book was the same in each mystery bag. A shopper bought 3 bags, and in those 3 bags, 6 of them were spy books. So each bag had about 2 books that were spy books. Based on that information, how can we make predictions about the future? So if I have 8 bags and each of those bags has 2 books, that's 16. If I have 6 bags and each of those bags has 2 books, that's going to be 12. And there will be 4 more spy novels in 8 bags than in 12 bags. So far, that's true. Let's look at the rest of my answer choices. There are 2 more spy novels in 6 bags, so that's 12. Then in 4 bags, that's 8. Is the difference between 12 and 8 2? So that's a no. There will be 1 more spy novel in 9 bags, so 9 times 2 is 18. And 8 times 2 is 16. Is that 1 more? No. There will be 6 more spy novels in 10 bags, so 10 times 2 is 20. And then in 8 bags, 8 times 2 is 16. 20 and 16, there's a difference of 4, not 6. So my answer choice here is F. That is the best prediction. All right, let's look at number 4. For number 4, we have a recipe of fruit salad. I'm sorry, can't see it. We have a recipe for fruit salad that includes 1/3 cup of grapes for 4 servings. How many cups of grapes are needed for 30? So we're comparing cups to servings. And we know that we have 1/3 of a cup in 4 servings. We want to know how we can get to 30. So we could do this a couple of different ways. One way that we might do this is to divide in half. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 1/3 divided in half would be 1/6. And from here to here, it's pretty easy to see that 2 times 15 is 30. So we have to do 1/6 times 15. Or we can make any number of fraction just by putting it over 1. So that becomes 15/6. And when we simplify that, 6 can go into 15 2 times. 6 times 2 is 12, which means we have 3 out of 6 left over. But we would simplify that to 1/2. So in 30 servings, we would need 2.5 cups of grapes, which is H. All right, number 5. The price of a sweater was reduced from $20 to $12. By what percentage was the price of the sweater reduced? Okay, so this is going to be a percent of change problem. Just to remind you, that's about the amount of change, okay, over the original. Okay, so we're going from 20 to 12. So my change here was 8, and my original cost was 20. I want to know what percent that is out of 100. Okay, so I can simplify these. Both of these are divisible by 4. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. 20 divided by 4 is 5. And then it's pretty easy for me to see that 5 times 20 is 100. And 2 times 20 is going to give me 40. And because we are talking about a percent reduction, it was reduced by 40%. Okay, let's look at number 6. Russell has a collection of 1,200 pennies. Of these pennies, 25% are dated before 1980, 35% are dated from 1980 to 2000, and the rest are dated after. Okay, well, we know that percents are out of 100. So far, we have 25% and we have 35%. If we add those two together, we would get 60%. In order to have the total of 100%, we would need 40% that was left from after 2000. Okay, so after 2000, we have 40%. We want to know how many pennies that is. Well, 40% is going to go over the 100. Okay, we know that there were 1,200 pennies total. And if I go from here to here, I can simplify this a little bit if I want to. These are both divisible by 10. Okay, so we have 10 times 120 would give me 1,200, and 4 times 120 would give me F, 480. So 480 of those pennies are dated after 2000. Okay. Number 7, Kiara downloaded 264 pictures from her cell phone to her computer. These pictures took up 525 megabytes of space on her computer. So we're comparing pictures to megabytes. And we know that 264 pictures take 528 megabytes. If each picture takes up the same amount of space, how many megabytes do 35 of these pictures take up? Well, I can look at this relationship and I can see that 264 is half of 528. So I'm going to simplify this to 1/2. And then it's really easy for me to say 1 picture to 35 pictures is multiplying by 35. So 2 times 35 is going to be 70. So it would take 70 megabytes to download 35 pictures. We're pretty good on time. Let's look at number 8. All right, Yvette uses 6 grams of tea leaves to make 24 fluid ounces of tea. Oh, can't see it, sorry. Last week, she made 288 fluid ounces of tea. How many grams of tea did Yvette make? How many grams of tea leaves did Yvette make to make tea last week? All right, so we have grams and we have ounces, okay? We know 6 grams, 24 ounces. We want to know how many grams are in 288. Well, just so I can make my numbers a little bit smaller, I can simplify this to 1 and 4, okay? And then that'll tell me that if I multiply by 72, I will end up with 288. So 1 times 72 is going to be 72. So 72 grams and 288 fluid ounces of tea. All right, number 9. Amanda increased the amount of protein she eats from 48 to 54 grams. By what percentage did she increase the amount of protein she eats? Okay, so we're going to go with our change because this is a percent of change problem. So we have 48 to 54, so it increases by 6. Our original was 48. We want to know the percent out of the 100, okay? So we can simplify here. This becomes a 1, and this becomes a 4, I believe. Oops, I lied. Okay, this becomes a 1. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 48 divided by 6 is 8, right? So we have 1/8 to 100. This is one of those that I would call a benchmark fraction that you are going to have to memorize, and that would end up being 12.5%. So 1 divided by 8, 12.5%. Okay, let's look at number 10. The length of a ruler is 12 inches. There are approximately 25 4/10 millimeters in 1 inch. What measurement is closest to the length of the ruler in millimeters? Okay, so we're comparing inches, and mm is millimeters. We know that 1 inch has 25 4/10 millimeters. We want to know in an entire ruler, so 12 inches, what 25.4 milliliters would be. So from here to here, we can multiply by 12. We're going to do the same thing down here. Okay, I might need a little bit more space, so I'm going to go right here. 25.4 times 12. 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 5. Okay, done with that, and we're done with that. 4, 5, 2. So we should have 304.8, which is C. There are 304.8 millimeters in a 12-inch ruler. I'm going to go ahead and pause right now, guys. I'm at about 12 minutes, and this only gives me 15, so this video will probably end up having 2 parts. Be right back.